Good evening, everybody. It's Kentario, and I'm back again with Christ and comic books. And I almost lost my voice there for a second. But the thing I'm looking to hit on today for our video is I got my buddy Jonathan Beck questioning me and asking me because of the last video talking about DC and how I don't have a favorite character. He inquired about, well, who is your favorite character, at least in Marvel, since you didn't have one in DC? And of course, it's obvious. Everybody knows that my favorite character in all of Marvel is going to be the top man, the web slinger, Spider-Man. So there's no question or debate about him being my favorite hero. There's no arguing it, and you may ask the question of why. And that really just stems from him being that underdog character because all he has is his web shooters, his spider sense, his agility, and his just above superhuman strength. Now, of course, I only say that because that's how it's portrayed majority of the time, but he has had several instances where his strength even has superseded what people has expected. And of course, with his spider sense, it allows for him to, in all extensive purposes, to never be touched. You want to go hand to hand with him. If he's all in for his spider sense, you're not touching him. You're not getting your hands on him. You're not grabbing him. You're not hitting him. The Hulk has struggled greatly with trying to do that. Thanos, even as y'all seen in the movie, he struggles greatly with trying to get his hands on him. Now, he might overwhelm you with the gauntlet. We ain't talking gauntlet. We're not talking cheat codes. We talking like straight on hand to hand. Let's get it. He wins. Death Battle did a great one. I know people are iffy about Death Battle, but I think they actually did consider the facts on that one. I guess I could be biased. You can say what you want. I don't care. But, I mean, Death Battle portrayed that where Spider-Man supersedes Batman because of that. That Spidey sense really gives him an edge against hand-to-hand combat. And another thing about that is, again, like I said, he's an underdog character. So, with him being an underdog character, people don't expect Spider-Man to supersede them. They don't expect Spider-Man to outdo them or to trick them or to perform at a level in which they weren't ready for it, right? And that shows several different Spider-Man comics. There was a Fantastic Four issue back in the beginning when Spider-Man had to contend against the Fantastic Four. He won. There was an instance in where Spider-Man had to contend against the X-Men, particularly Wolverine, who hated him for God knows what reason, but it's Wolverine. He won. He's contended against the Avengers. Guess what? Spider-Man won. So Spider-Man's shown himself to be a top contending character throughout Marvel. And another aspect, another instance too, very few people know about this, but there was one instance where my leg's itching. Leave me alone. My leg was itching, okay? So don't mess with me. So there was one instance where Spider-Man was fighting with the Hulk. The Hulk went to go swing on him, and I can't really give you the picture, but what Spider-Man did was he webbed his arm in the midst of him trying to swing on him, and he used the momentum to his advantage to build up more power behind him as he's swinging on that webbing, and he's building up that energy, and as he comes in on the Hulk, he hits the Hulk on a certain point on his jaw, and he knocks out the Hulk. He's one of very few characters to pull that off, particularly in physical combat. So Spider-Man is someone who's highly worthy of respect. And the other thing about Spider-Man entirely that I truly, truly adore and love about him is that character development. The way that they portrayed his story of going from being that teenage with nothing, except his intelligence, of course, to a teenage with powers, to someone who's thinking I could just do what I want with my power being misused cost me something. Now I have to straighten up and try and do better and do differently and see about what it is that I can do to balance having a normal life and balance being that hero that people are still needing, me sacrificing having the relationships and the bonds and the time to myself that I would have if I was normal. I don't have that anymore. I have a responsibility with this power to make a difference. And that's what I truly love about Spider-Man is he's dedicated himself to making that difference no matter of the limited resources, no matter of, not having love, no matter of not having a family. And he's doing everything that he can to make sure that no one is being lost in the process of him trying to yet again still find that balance in that. So that's what really draws me into Spider-Man. And that's what leads me also into another point of me even making this video. It's not going to be a long one. It's just me talking. So just go with the flow there. Just go with it. You feel me? So Spider-Man is one of the many characters that Marvel has done a wonderful job of writing. What I mean by that is, it's not about the epic big series comic writings that they're doing. It's about how they develop characters, how they take a person and they make them into a hero. Well, what makes them qualified to be a hero? What is it that they go through in becoming a hero? What are their weaknesses and how are they going to overcome that? They do such a great job of writing those types of stories that's what's the drawing point for Marvel. People can relate to Marvel characters. People sit and watch Spider-Man. They can relate. If I was to be strong, gifted in any other way outside of my nothingness that I feel, who and what would I be if I had that ability? That's the thing that Spider-Man demonstrates for a lot of people. People look at Iron Man, and even me now, I didn't like Iron Man before. I hated Iron Man. He was just a rich boy playboy. I have money. I do what I want with my money, and I don't care about anybody else. I could just be the hero that I'm going to be, because I can. But now they've gotten to that point where they've given him more of background. They've given him more of that growth from being that person that's just about me to that person that's about the people in a more intimate level. And the way that they've grown him is so magnificent. The way that they've played on Captain America and how Captain America was gung-ho for America and at the same time becoming an enemy of America. I'm dabbing between both MCU as well as the comic, to him becoming an enemy of America, not only by him choosing to do the quote-unquote the morally right thing and that leading to war with the other hero, Civil War, and I'm speaking comic book at this point, but even in the essence of him being history being warped to where he's an enemy of the country instead of being that hero that people need. So there's such a huge contingency there with that character that he's being toggled back and forth between nations and just being puppetized. The way that they use that to show that level of, in the end, no matter how many people have tried to manipulate me and use me and play on me and put me in these tough positions, I'm still going to be the true to myself. And that's what's great about Captain America. And man, the list goes on and on and on and on and on about character development within Marvel. They do it all the time. They've done it with the X-Men. Oh my goodness, all there is character development in X-Men. You got Wolverine, who has no memory of his past, but he's still trying to find those memories and at the same time not react as the savage beast that he has shown himself to be, which is a part of what he remembers of who he is, which is something he is trying to overcome and become stronger than. So you have that character development with him. Oh my gosh, you have Jean Grey, who goes from being the weakling, psychic, telepathic young lady who everyone's gawking over, who really doesn't contribute anything to the team. Sakura for my Naruto fans. Ha! Just joking. So having the Phoenix Force and that cleaving to not only her, but anyone that comes from her lineage, they can't help but seem to cling to for some strange, unknown reason. And her having all of this magnificent power, but losing control of herself and who she is. Never being able to retain who she is as herself, as a woman, as a mutant, and now as a powerhouse, as the Phoenix. So there's always this warfare of character development. And again, that's what I love about Marvel. I can't help but love. I'm a firm believer, and this is just to tie into my faith, I'm a firm believer in the development of you as the individual. There's a lot of people that would disagree with that because they think the world is so damaged right now, we need people hopping to the front lines to help the world. But when you think about that from a military standpoint, right? We have so many people that when they decide, I'm going to be a part of the military, I'm going to make a difference by joining the military. They join the military. They do make a difference for that battle, for that war, for that situation, for that helicopter flight, for the training. They make such a huge difference of being a part of that team. But what's the end result of who they are after that? You have so many people suffering from PTSD. You have so many people who end up committing suicide. You have so many people who end up going crazy. You have so many people who are, gung-ho for that military life to come back, especially when they start to lose their memory. They go back into returning into that, survival mode of thinking. So even though you just joining the military makes a difference, if you yourself haven't been developed to be able to go into such a place, into such a position, you can say, well, they got the military training, so they should have been. No, you don't know what you're stepping into. Even when you're willing, even when you're trained, the impact of what you have to do as a part of a military. You don't know what it is that you're putting yourself out there to do when you say that I want to go and change the world when I haven't done anything to change me and grow me. that's the risk you take. And that's that balance there again when I'm talking Marvel, is Marvel focuses on that character being developed where they're trying to be that world changer. And so that's where you find such a magnificent balance, and why I recommend people really get into Marvel for that reason. DC doesn't do that. DC gives you the God aspect of everybody in their series. Everybody's a god in some way, form, or fashion. Batman, god of intelligence and strategy. Superman, god of everything. They're not even going to try and list Superman stuff. Wonder Woman, the goddess of everything. You got the Flash, the fastest of all fastest person. You got Green Lantern. I got all the willpower in the world. If you've seen the story where he's the host for Parallax, which is the spirit form of the Yellow Lantern. Long story. We're not getting all into that. We'll do a Green Lantern arc one of these days. But again, it's just God level where you don't get to relate to that. You don't get to see that maturity of the person, so to speak. You don't get to see much of that through DC. But in Marvel, you get to see that. You see the person grow to be able to be the difference maker that is needed in this world. You want to be a difference maker. You need to start with you. Grow yourself, mature yourself, learn everything that you can so that when you go to put your hand to the plow, you understand and know what you're doing when you go to do it. You're not just jumping off the cliff hoping that it'll make a difference. And even when you mess up, no one better say anything to me because at least I'm out here trying. You're going to do more damage than you're actually going to do good. And that's one of the major things that I could say about Marvel that I think is so important. As a child of God, we can't go out and hope to preach and teach and to change the world. We haven't done anything for ourselves. It's like the rich young ruler who came to Jesus telling Jesus, hey, I want to follow you. But the rich young ruler hadn't done anything to really grow him as an individual because God challenged him. He's like, have you been doing your studies? He's like, yep, I know the word back and forth. Have you been doing this? Have you been doing that? Yep. I did all of these things. I've been able to do everything that I need to do. Sell everything you own, and then come follow me. The man walked away sorrowful. I always speak that Jesus was true in his offer, but it's also true that that man could not deny himself to come follow Christ. There was a self-development that needed to take place within him for him to be able to come and follow Jesus. There's a self-development that needs to take place in us before we can ever look to be the hero that can change the world. If you don't know how to clean up your own yard and take care of your own property, how can you go out and hope to clean up the rest of the world? Thank you, guys. I hope y'all have a blessed evening. Please tune in on Facebook. I will be on my father's. You can check it out on my father's page, Apostle Dickie Adams, and I will be teaching Bible study today. Thank you, guys, and I hope y'all tune in and enjoy. You can check it out after it's been posted. I'll be making sure to share it. Y'all have a blessed evening. Good night.